welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for October 23rd. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, I'm going to, oh my man, my stuff got all out of whack here. What happened?
Oh, sorry.
All right, I'm going to start off here with Daredevil. This is Daredevil number 32. This one I'm super excited about because of the cover. This has got the Legion of Monsters. It's got, I can't remember what the zombie was called, but it's got the zombie character,
Is that
Satana.
iZombie?
Is it? What, no, iZombie was over. That's DC's.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the zombie character is from Marvel, but Satana, Frankenstein, the Living Mummy, and looks like Werewolf by Night and Daredevil. At the end of the last issue, something sort of happened. I mean, obviously, I believe the Jester is messing with Daredevil, and looks like something has happened to Foggy Nelson. You know, not entirely sure, you know, if it is what it looks like. I'm sure it isn't, as these things go. But pretty cool. I'm just excited to see what happens here with the Legion of Monsters, because that is some of my favorite stuff in comic books, and it's certainly a part of that Marvel stuff. I'm sure that this is probably he's having some kind of an induced nightmare, and that's what it is more than anything else. See people with pitchforks and torches, but man, I hope we actually get the monster. What a great shot that is. All right, well, I'm excited about some Daredevil this week. Then I've got Nova, issue number 9. For the most part, I've been enjoying this book. I think it's kind of a fun book. Usually I'm not too hip to, I'm not too hip to the, you know, kind of the galactic stuff and, you know, the Marvel Cosmic. And I'm also not super hip to, like, the young teenage superhero. But this book has been pretty fun.
And you don't like Zeb Wells.
And I don't like Zeb Wells. It's got everything going against it. And somehow I'm really enjoying it all the same.
That's a recommendation. I hate everything about this book, but I like the book.
Then I think it is a solid recommendation. It's working beyond all of the singular cogs that are pushing it. Then I've got, this is Wolverine and the X-Men, issue number 37. I really don't read Wolverine and the X-Men, but this is actually chapter 9 of Battle of the Atom. So I love that they put these little synopses in the front of the books, because sometimes they clue you to things that you had no idea what had happened. So apparently the group that was pretending to be the future X-Men, even though but there is a future X-Men. Who are these guys? Apparently that was the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants that we were not told about. But once they Scooby-Dooed it for me, it's Old Man Carruthers. They would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that meddling magic. So that's essentially what's going on. That's the Brotherhood. They've come back. They're trying to do something, and for some reason they can't send. There's some sort of time-traveling device. They're trying to send the original X-Men back. They can't. So they are about to get their way and do it. There was a big fight ensued, of course, but then at the moment of sending them back, something has already been changed enough that they can't go back.
Interesting. At
least that's what it looks like for now. It's chapter 9. We've only got one more chapter left. I'm excited to see where this is going. This is an X-Men crossover I've really been enjoying.
Very
great deal. I think it's very well written. I like the idea, the way they're using the time travel. Even though it's supposed to be broken, I don't know. And maybe that's why they can't send it back, because something is broken within the time stream. But they were able to send another character back. Lots of time travel when there's not supposed to be. Yeah. That's all right. What are we going to do? Next, this is a Dark Horse book. This is written by Victor Gischler. I liked his Curse of the Mutants stuff, the vampire stuff. It's more of a werewolf story. So the king of the werewolves finds out that his son apparently is not, a lichen, so he's not going to be a werewolf. He doesn't seem to carry the gene, so he's of course going to have to step down because he doesn't have an heir. He goes crazy and maybe kills his second in command. This witch sees what's going to happen, and now these witches are on the run from the werewolves who he has sort of sent them after him, saying, well, they killed this guy, and this is what happened here, and he's trying to protect himself for now, and now they're all after the witches. Kind of interesting. It kind of has a, sort of a grindhouse, kind of rednecky Louisiana kind of thing going for it. I like it so far. The first issue was neat. I want to see what happens with the second issue. This is issue number 17 of Harbinger by Valiant Comics. I love all the stuff Valiant's doing. Valiant is always pretty innovative with their gimmicks and the things that they do, and everyone seems to copy it. Yeah. They do these 8-bit covers, and then, of course, Marvel had to do 8-bit covers. Now, you see other people doing 8-bit covers. Our very, very good friends Mike Morrissey and Steve Seeley did an 8-bit cover on the Hoax Hunters, the Hoax Hunters case files or whatever. Now, I can't help. I've gone on a little 8-bit rant there for a reason, because I'm looking at a parody Harbinger cart which is essentially going to be Mario Kart. It's got the little person there, the little person with the thing. Mario Kart never appeared in 8-bit. First Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo, and that was a 16-bit game. That's
Maybe in the Harbinger universe.
there
things
was an
happened a
8-bit,
little later, yeah.
maybe, but I just there was no 8-bit Super Mario
Wow.
or Super Mario Kart. So I was very nature Super Mario Kart, Super Nintendo. I'm just saying. Love Harbinger though. Great. It's been a really, really good book. I like the differences from the previous one. They kind of have rather updated it well. I mean, some people are saying that, well, the Valiant books are kind of just rehashing the old stories. I'm like, well, I don't entirely agree with that. They are reintroducing the characters and they're doing things with them, and they're kind of telling some of those old stories and sort of rebooting.
Right.
But isn't that kind of what you want to see when you bring back a Valiant universe? It's certainly what I wanted to see. And I think, you have to have Harbinger going against, Pete Stanchek going against Harada. You have to have that. Otherwise, it's something totally different, and then you're going to have the people complaining about that. I think it's been a good story. They're building a cool thing. They're building towards this unity, which is going to be their big, huge event that I'm really, really looking forward to. That's coming up in November. Should be a really, really cool book. And, love the Valiant stuff. Then I've got, this is an image number 1. This is Velvet by Ed Brubaker with art by Steve Epting, kind of a Captain America reunion. I have no idea what this book is about. It does have a very noirish kind of look, but I think that has a lot to do with Steve Epting.
Yeah.
And, Brubaker certainly writes in that sort of style.
Yeah, I think this is their kind of noir, really more a kind of espionage spy stuff.
Is it? Okay.
I think so. I think his noir book is Fatale, and this is a little bit more.
But this still has like that feel to it. It's got the espionage thing, but the panels and the way it looks very, very much like one of those old, especially that. Look at that.
Yeah, if you liked what he did on Cap, if you like that feel, I think a lot of that's being translated to this minus the tights.
Beautiful, beautiful artwork. Looks really fantastic. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Then I've got we'll do another image number 1 here. I've got Pretty Deadly by Kelly Sue DeConnick with art by Emma Rios. I'm not really sure what this one is either. This looks like some kind of weird Western sort of deal, but it looks like it's got a different kind of spin on it. Looks cool. The artwork looks beautiful. Lots of people say lots of good things about Kelly Sue DeConnick. I wasn't reading her Captain Marvel. Haven't really read much else by her. But it's an image number 1, and it looks pretty good. A little bit of nudity in there, but they're putting all kinds of nudity in the image books now. I don't know, they're selling with just the big eye on the front, and then you put some boobies in there, and then you're off to the races.
Yep. Speaking of,
we got Sex Criminals number 2. I liked this first issue, and I was like, sex, what the heck is it? I couldn't even remember what the premise really was, but it's about a girl that when she has an orgasm, she stops time. And doesn't it always feel like that way sometimes, I guess? We like to think that. Anyway, she meets a dude who also stops time, and how would it not lead to sex and bank robbery? Clearly, that's where it's going. So you got sex and bank robbery, kind of fun. Some kids with kiss makeup on here. Kind of an odd premise.
only Matt Fraction. Well, maybe Grant Morrison.
Yeah,
one of those two.
It's a very Matt Fraction book.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. I liked the first issue. I'm curious to see where it's going. I'm sure more bank robbery stuff or, building their legend in some way, shape, or form.
I like the back cover.
Yeah, for mature readers, duh.
Yeah.
There's like an entire scene that takes place in a sex shop. Yeah, but it's on the back.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's huge.
It is huge. It is a huge warning.
I think a general rule of thumb, if the title of the book is Sex Criminals, probably adults only.
I'm thinking that. That's why we bag them.
Yeah.
Next up, I've got Rat Queens issue number 2. This book was I was really interested in it because Curtis Weeb, but the whole idea of kind of elf chicks, like I don't know, that D&D sort of feel doesn't usually do a whole lot for me. But I like this book. You got a little foul mouth, kind of nympho, little dwarf, little elf creature. Yeah, they're being sent on this mission. A bunch of groups get sent on various missions, and of course theirs is harder than some others, and there's some violence and some foul language, and they're off on a mission, so to speak, and just really kind of fun stuff. Curtis Weeb's dialogue is fantastic. I really have fun reading the characters yapping at each other. kind of cool stuff. I enjoyed that book. The first issue is still available, and the second issue comes out this week. Good stuff. Then I'm looking at Clone number 11. This has been a good book. I really like it. It's written by, what do we got here? Now it's got multiple writers: David Schulner, Aaron Ginsberg, and Wade McIntyre, with art by Juan Jose Rip. This is the story of a guy who's a clone and one of his clones trying to kill him, and it's tied into some greater stuff. Some experiments that the government were doing, and he seems to be the son of a politician, and really bizarre. It's kind of grounded science fiction. It's not just spaceships and that sort of stuff, but definitely dealing with some science fiction concepts. Really cool stuff. I like this book and cannot say enough good things about it. And hopefully, it's going to be a show on NBC. Cool. That's I guess what we're being told.
Nice.
So that takes me through the bulk of my stack. What do you got?
I'm gonna start off with Satellite Sam, number 4. This is Matt Fraction and Howard Chaykin. Matt Fraction does like the dirty stuff. So this is the story of a 1950s TV show actor. TV show is called Satellite Sam. The lead actor, this is back when TV was live.
Okay.
Lead actor turns up murdered. His son takes over the role and starts investigating his father's murder, and finds out his father's into a lot of sordid, dirty stuff with lots of naked pictures of him and various female members of the cast and crew and other people. So somehow in this kind of dirty, sordid world, he did something and wound up dead. In the meantime, it's also kind of a behind the scenes at this 1950s TV station and some of the politics that goes on there. So it's some interesting stuff. It's a period piece, like I said, black and white. I'd say nobody does this kind of time period as good as Howard Chaykin. We have some great black and white Howard Chaykin artwork. So if you're interested in kind of the golden age of television or dirty sordid affairs, this is kind of the book for you. Next up, we've got Unwritten number 54. This is the final part of the Unwritten Fables crossover. So now I'll get to read it, because I typically just read this book. I'm basically reading it in trade paperback without buying trade paperbacks. This is the last story in this run of the book. The book is getting canceled and restarted in 3 months with a new take. I don't know what's going on. I haven't read the book in 5 months. This is the crossover with Fables, which is Bill Willingham's long-running Vertigo title. But yeah, this is kind of the end of the kind of first part of the story, and I hope that they're kind of moving towards the end game after 54 issues on these kind of long stories. It's time to start wrapping up, I think. Next up, Uncanny Avengers number 13. This is Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna. The Children of Apocalypse are running around. They want to create a paradise for mutants and pull all the mutants off of Earth. This is the combo team of Avengers and X-Men, basically. They've revived their version of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, which means they've got 4 of the dead characters. Wolverine's son, Daken, the Banshee, the Sentry, and I think the Grim Reaper, all of whom have ties to characters in these books, are the new Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Rick Remender, again, this is kind of funny because this is completely independent of the end of the world stuff that's going on in Hickman's books. But yeah, big threat. The Apocalypse's children, the Apocalypse twins, I think they're called, are going to kind of get rid of. Well, actually, they want to just take the mutants to another world, and cause the end of the rest of the world. Next up, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. This is Brian Michael Bendis. We find out a little bit more about kind of the behind the scenes of the Ultimate Universe. It looks like a lot of the superpowered characters have actually been the creation of Roxxon Industries, which one of the many various evil corporations that run around Marvel Comics. Roxxon's probably the biggest evil corporation. Much like Oscorp was trying to recreate the super soldier serum, and that led to the creation of Spider-Man, Oscorp is also trying to create super soldiers, and that's led to the creation apparently of a lot of different characters in the universe. So now Spider-Man, Cloak and Dagger, a character I don't quite recognize, and Spider-Woman, who I think was, well, no, she's the clone she's actually
Right,
the female
yeah.
clone of Peter Parker,
Yes.
are all going to go face Roxxon for a big final confrontation, and then after this, Cataclysm starts. So
And then that's going to be the end of the Ultimate Universe again?
maybe, we don't know,
Okay.
but it's looking that way. Galactus is going to show up. He's been in that Hunger series in the
Yep.
Ultimate Universe. Galactus is going to show up and try to eat the world, and it looks like he's going to succeed, except probably Miles Morales, who's the only one anybody likes, will make it over to the regular Marvel Universe and be yet another Spider-Man running around.
That's fine.
Still no Peter, though. Going to have a lot of non-Peter Spider-Man running around. Next up, we've got FF. This is Matt Fraction and a bunch of Allreds. Looks like Lee, Michael, and Laura Allred all worked on this. I don't know who's.
I don't know who Lee is.
I don't know. Is he a brother, maybe?
Maybe.
He did the script.
Okay.
But in any event, this is kind of a weird, wacky Fantastic Four team. All the Fantastic Four are gallivanting off in space. This is the replacement team. At the end of last issue, they were trying to create some sort of device that would teleport the Fantastic Four back to Earth, but instead they wind up getting teleported somewhere, somewhen. Doctor Doom is kind of playing into this. They want to try and defeat Doom, and this is just, they're just throwing all kinds of stuff out here. We've got the Impossible Man, we've got the Watcher, we've got an Ultimate Nullifier or two, we got a Lady Watcher. This is a weird book. The Red Ghost and his apes, and some alternate dimension. I don't know. This is a crazy book. That's all I gotta say. It's a crazy book. It's Matt Fraction. When he's not being dirty, he's being crazy.
Well, and throw Mike Allred in the mix.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss them on this book. I actually hope that when they're canceling FF and Fantastic Four, restarting Fantastic Four. I believe James Robinson.
Yep.
I don't think they've announced an artist. I've heard Leonard Kirk being kicked around.
Okay.
I actually hope that they just pull the plug on FF. Because
I hope so too.
The first version was so Hickman. This version is so Fraction. I don't know what else they could do with this. So, but we'll see. Next up, we've got Red Lanterns number 24. This is part 4 of Lights Out, which I've been enjoying very much. Relic is basically going to wipe out the Lanterns because he thinks the Lanterns are going to wipe out the universe. In this, we've got Guy Gardner, who went undercover as a Red Lantern, and he was infiltrating to discover what was going on, and then they were going to pull him out and have him be cured of his Red Lanternness by the Blue Lanterns. The Blue Lanterns are all dead, so except Saint Walker. But yeah, so he's kind of screwed. His whole escape route out of being a Red Lantern is gone, and now it looks like he doesn't necessarily want to stop being a Red Lantern anymore. So some good stuff in here. Looks like we got Dexstar, we got the Rage Kitty, but yeah, this is
Everybody loves Dexstar.
dude. If you give a cat a Red Lantern ring, you will have one of the deadliest beings.
Absolutely.
But yeah, basically the Lanterns. As they do, the multiple Lantern Corps have to get together to fight someone who's threatening all of them. So that's what's going on here. Next up, Larfleeze. Larfleeze has managed to avoid this Lights Out crossover.
All right.
This is all about Larfleeze himself.
Well, as it should be.
Yeah, although this is kind of interesting. Larfleeze was the only Orange Lantern. All of his other lanterns were basically just constructs of people he's killed. Well, somebody brought back all the people that he killed and gave them orange rings. So now all of the other Orange Lanterns want Larfleeze dead because he killed them. So yeah, a bunch of Orange Lanterns are basically trying to wipe out Larfleeze. And then we've got some weird shenanigans with some gods of another universe. This is written by Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis, who did the classic Wahaha Justice League. And yeah, this is a funny book. It's hard to take Larfleeze seriously, so they don't, and it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Next up, Superman number 24, Mike Johnson, new writer on the book. Wasn't really familiar with him being on here. And this is part 3 of Psy-War. I'm a little behind. I don't know that I've read parts 1 and 2, but it looks like we've got the new, who is this guy? Psycho Pirate.
Okay.
Lois Lane has got some strange psychic abilities. We've got Hector Hammond in here. Basically, all of these big gun telepaths and psionics in the DC universe are kind of doing their number on Superman because he's susceptible to that. And all of this is just kind of like leading up to the upcoming Return of Krypton, I believe it's called. Return of Krypton. So yeah, this is felt like a little bit of filler as they were kind of putting their pieces in place for the crossover. But great artwork by Eddie Barrows on this book. Next up, Justice League Dark number 24. I wasn't getting Justice League Dark until Forever Evil, or until Trinity War. But now it looks like they're playing a kind of a decent role in the Forever Evil crossover. Yeah. This is a Forever Evil title. So I'm giving it a shot. Looks like we've got multiple demonic John Constantines. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it's going to be their take on Forever Evil, around what's going on in there. I really enjoyed the Justice League Dark crossover, or the issues that they were in for Trinity War. This is written by J.M. DeMatteis, who, in addition to being very funny, is also a very good writer of all things magic and mystic. Yes. So if anybody could do kind of this John Constantine, it's probably him. So we're giving it a shot. And that's my stack.
All right, well, I guess that brings me to the top of my stack. I am really excited about this book here. This is Samurai Jack number 1. IDW's been bringing back a lot of the Cartoon Network classics. What has me so excited about this is that while it's written by, who's writing it? Is it Jim Zub? Is that his name? Well, Zub's the last name. But it's drawn by Andy Siriano. Andy Siriano used to do, he did character designs on the series. But the reason, I'm so excited about this is, well, I went to high school with Andy. Andy graduated a year ahead of me. We used to talk comics all the time. He was always drawing and that sort of stuff. And it's great to see him still working and doing things. We've talked about him on the show many times. He's done Charlatans Ball. He did Doc Macabre. Or was that what? No, not Doc Macabre. What was his Doc series?
I don't remember.
It was that one weird thing? Doc Bazaar. That's what it was. Doc Bazaar over at Image. He is directing all of the Plastic Man shorts for DC Nation. So Andy's been busy, and he's been doing lots of things, and his artwork is fantastic. And here he is on Samurai Jack, something that he used to do character designs on, and I'm really excited about it. Can't say enough good things. This is one you should definitely check out. Cool. Andy is also a great dude.
Top of my stack is Justice League number 24. This is continuing the Forever Evil crossover. The cover is pretty cool. It's the cover for Justice League number 1, but flipped and with the Crime Syndicate in place there. This is by Jeff Johns with art by Yvonne Race, which I've sung his praises many times.
Yes.
This is a great team. This is the team that did Blackest Night. That really was, I think, the best team to be on Green Lantern. But the reason I'm looking forward to this particular book is this is the origin of Ultraman.
Oh, is it? All right.
This starts off on the alternate Krypton and goes to the alternate Smallville. And we find out just exactly why the Earth 3 Superman is a villain instead of a hero, and just kind of get some of his backstory and how some of the pieces were put in place for Forever Evil, as well as kind of tying into what's going on in Forever Evil. This is a real badass Superman. For people who think Superman's a little white bread, this shows you why it's a good thing, because
and these are all images from other covers that they're showing, but they're showing it how it happened differently. There was one Jim Lee image right there. Like, they're constantly showing these splash pages of things that were covers on other issues. That's neat. That's really cool.
So this is really, I've been looking forward to this. I mean, it's kind of that was basically versus Shazam.
That was
So it's giving you a little bit of backstory. I've been enjoying Forever Evil and Trinity War. I think it's been some good stuff for DC, and this is giving you a little bit of background information over the evil Superman. So it's a lot of fun.
Very cool. Well, lots of good stuff out this week. That is your Week in Geek.